And there's one thing you have to get through your mind and keep it. Nothing that ever came from the European mind was meant to do anything but facilitate European domination of the world. Everything, every idea, every so-called religion was meant to dominate and to control. You were the ones with the illusions. Why is it that you are so naive? You let people redress something that you invented, sell it back to you, and enslave you through it. Our relationship with the people of the world and the fact that we created peaceful nations that had no word for jail because no one had ever gone to one. No word for old people's home because no one ever threw away grandma and grandpa. No word for orphanage. We did all of this, and over half of human civilization was over before we knew that a European was in the world. Before he wore a shoe or lived in a house that had a window. Now, Africa has always and still is the prize for the whole world. We have always been the prize because we have always had and still have something that other people won't, think they can't do without, and don't care to pay for. Because we have always been the prize, we have been under siege for over 3,000 years. The main thing imperialism did, slavery and imperialism, that they removed African people from the respectful commentary of history. When they discovered you, they began to prey on you. And what we have to understand now, in the period of superior brainwashing, is there is no European answer for African problems. Either Africans find a solution to African problems or there is no solution, and if you don't find a solution soon, you go back into slavery. We have to stop all of this nonsense about who belongs to what religion when all of them were imposed on us in the first place. We stop all this fight between Muslims and Christians when neither one of the religions are doing them any good or moving them toward independence. All of them are handmaids of conquerors. All of them are religions of conquerors. We were naive when we accepted their interpretation of something that we had all along. I'm saying we need to take a good look at ourselves. I'm not talking about burning churches. I'm not talking about getting rid of religion. Understand me well. I am saying that every single thing that touches your life, religious, socially, and politically, must be an instrument of your liberation, or you must throw it into the ash can of history. We've been the victims of propaganda. Now, the Bible that you get so dewy-eyed over is one of the greatest pieces of propaganda ever written. If you want to read the Bible, why don't you read the Bible one day and read Mein Kampf the next day and see the comparison? That's hard on your mind. Because you think if you don't have Christianity, Islam, or Judaism, you don't have to have spirituality. I've got more spirituality after I put all of them down. A lot of people need to stop reading some religious books and read some straight history. Without fables, without supposition, without myth. Read straight history. The Europeans doing the slave trade not only read the African out of history, they colonized history, they colonized information about history. But what you have to do is take a holistic look. Not only at your position in the world, but your potential in the world. But if there are a billion of you on the face of this earth, scattered all over the world, what do you need with a friend other than yourself? Why can't you turn inward on yourself and say, I will wear no clothes I don't produce. Start with your underwear. I wear no shoes that's not made by a brother. You're creating a shoe factory, employment at once. Start buying aeroplanes, break them down and study them, later on make aeroplanes. What this whole thing is about is the restoration of confidence. It has been the role of these handmaidens of colonialism to destroy your confidence in yourself. We produced the first human society that said you can't be a king unless you got a queen. You can't be a god unless you got a goddess. We got confused with someone else's ideas, someone else's concept and definition of us. What we have to understand is that faith has not spared us for an idle reason. What is there in us that made us strong enough to take this heavy blow? 500 years of slavery, one way or the other. Slavery, neo-colonialism. What made us strong enough to survive? What is faith saved us to do? And inasmuch as we gave the world its first humanity, faith has saved us to give the world its last humanity. What we have to do is to believe it, to believe that we are worthy of it, and to believe that we are capable of it. What black studies should be about, what black religion should be about, is the restoration of the confidence. And the restoration of the confidence is we must rule the state again. Then, in coordination with other African people throughout the world, we will give the world a new lease on life. We must answer the call of the great African-American poet, Margaret Walker, who said, let the dirges end, let a new peace begin. Let us write a new covenant for the freedom of ourselves in the world. African men throughout the world need to step forward and answer Sister Margaret and say, Sister Margaret, we have heard your call. With our women at our side, we are ready to pick up the challenge. We are ready to start a revolution that will change the world. We won't get ready tomorrow because tomorrow's things are left to tomorrow. We will start our revolution right now, and we will start it with ourselves. Thank you.
Ancestors who began the march of humankind in the womb of Mother Africa, we ask these ancestors to be with us, to strengthen us, and give us a vision for the future. In the name of the African ancestors who began the march of humankind in the womb of Mother Africa and marched down the Nile, laying the foundations for human civilization and culture, we ask these Africans to be with us, to strengthen us, and give us a vision for the future. In the name of these African ancestors who built their pyramids and their temples to their God concepts, to their principles, and to their moral values, who left us a legacy of architecture and monumental building unparalleled in the history of the world, we ask these ancestors who built the pyramids, who built the temples, to be with us, to strengthen us, and give us a vision for the future. We ask these African ancestors who took this African culture and extended it throughout Africa, building the stone cities of Zimbabwe, building the empires of the Sudan, Ghana, Mali, and Songhai, building the Swahili city-states along the east coast of Africa, and in Christian Africa asking King Lalibela and giving him the courage to build the 12 churches of Lalibela from the ground down, monuments to the world. We ask these Africans who spread this culture to the Dogo and to the Akan and to the Yoruba and to the Bankango and to the Zulu. We ask these Africans to be with us, to strengthen us, and give us a vision for the future. In the name of the Africans who opened up Africa, opened up the Nile Valley to other cultures and other peoples, and they came in and nurtured themselves on the African greatness. First coming in early with the ancient Hebrews, and they synthesized this culture and produced Judaism. Later coming in were the Christians, and they synthesized this culture and produced Christianity. Coming in were also the Greeks, who took the African culture, synthesized it, and produced Greek civilization. And then later, the Prophet Muhammad, and with the Arabs coming into the Nile Valley, they synthesized the culture and produced Islam. We ask these African ancestors, who as part of their legacy laid the foundations for Judaism, Christianity, Islam, and Greek civilization, to be with us, to strengthen us, and give us a vision for the future. We ask those African ancestors pulled out of Africa, taken to the hells of North America, South America, the Caribbean, maintaining the spirit of African humanity in their hearts and in their minds, and who left us this enormous legacy of struggle. We ask those Africans who resisted enslavement in the villages of Africa, who resisted enslavement in the shores of Africa, who resisted enslavement in those forts and dungeons, who resisted enslavement in the holds of those ships, who resisted enslavement when they arrived on these shores in the New World. We ask these Africans who ran into the highlands of northeast Brazil and established for 100 years the first free republic in the Americas, the Republic of Palmares, and their last great leader, Zumbi, who spirit and sacrifice. We asked these Africans who replicated the Brazilian experience and went into the highlands of Jamaica and became the maroon-free communities. We asked these Africans who went into the backwoods of the Guyanas and Suriname and created free republic of the Suramaka and the Ajuka. We asked these Africans who went into the backwoods of Georgia and the swamps of Florida and moved with the Seminole Indians and resisted oppression. We ask these Africans who left us a legacy of struggle and resistance, the likes of which no one in the world has, to be with us, to strengthen us, and give us a vision for the future. We ask these Africans who created and laid for us a foundation of struggle and resistance that was passed on generation after generation, that was passed on to Harriet Tubman, who fought her way out of enslavement and became a symbol of freedom for all of us. Similarly, Frederick Douglass and hundreds of thousands of others fought their way out of enslavement. We asked those Africans who went with Boukman Dessalines to create the greatest revolutionary experience in the history of the world, the Haitian Revolution, leaving us a legacy, the likes of which no one else has had. We asked these Africans to be with us, to strengthen us, and give us a vision for the future.
A very good morning and welcome to the Africa Forum, Running African. My name is Roger Haspel and I'm holding the fort for Kheru today. And of course the vision statement for the Africa Forum. We are reuniting the African family for development. Our mission statement, blazing new paths towards Africa rendezvous with destiny. Bearing witness, demanding change, crafting an African-centered agenda for change and development, and honoring our moral obligation to remember. So here we are today. For the next 4 hours, we'll be on a journey. The journey towards the reconstructing of the African consciousness. I want to say special good morning to the team, O'Brien, Shamara, and Simone. Yes, and we'll be here throughout the course of the morning. So much things to say, so much things to discuss. Of course, today it is the Ethiopian Orthodox Palm Sunday, according to the Gregorian calendar, and we'll be having a discussion on that a little later on as well. So stay tuned, hang on, and we take you on a journey towards the African consciousness on the Africa Forum, Running Africa.
So don't care where you come from, as long as you're a black man, you're an African. No mind your complexion, there is no rejection, you're an African. Cause if your flexion high, your flexion low, and if your flexion in between, you're an African. So don't care where you come from, as long as you're a black man, you're an African. No mind denomination, that is only segregation, you're an African. Cause if you go to the Catholic, and if you go to the Methodist, and if you go to the Church of God, you're an African. So don't care where you come from, as long as you're a black man, you're an African. No mind your nationality, I've got the identity of an African. Cause if you come from Brixton, and if you come from Eastgate, and if you come from Eastgate, and if you come from Bronx, and if you come from Brooklyn, and if you come from Queens, and if you come from Manhattan, and if you come from Canada, and if you come from Miami, and if you come from Switzerland, and if you come.
Yes, indeed. That is Peter Tosh. As long as you're a black man, you're an African. And, you know, it's a serious thing, you know, because we still in Jamaica, a lot of us. And I'm going to put my foot down here. And you find a lot of people who scorn this thing named African. And, you know, the African is your scientific definition of your race. So for the white man, you have the Caucasian. For the Chinese man, you have the Chinese or Mongolian. The Indian race, you have the Indian. But you'll have a lot of people still in the race, you have the Indian. But you'll have a lot of people still in Jamaica. Don't want to hear this African thing. And the first thing they're going to say, you know, I'm Jamaican, I'm not African. Well, you care what you say and I care what you do. You see, as Peter just said, as long as you're a black man, you're an African. So a lot of people this morning getting up, listening to the radio and wondering how this little church boy on the radio who usually go to church and so on and Sunday morning and so on, talking about African consciousness. But we're going to take you on a journey. And of course, the program is the Africa Forum, Running African. And we are here to reunite the Africa family for development. So, yes, Peter just said, as long as you're a black man, you're an African. So even if you have a little touch of blackness in you, you're an African. And that's, you could have deal and cuss and how you're Jamaican, how you're this and you're that. Your scientific definition of your race is African.
No mind your nationality, you have got the identity of an African. Cause if you come from Clarendon, and if you come from Portland, and if you come from Westmoreland, you're an African. So don't care where you come from, as long as you're a black man, you're an African. No mind your nationality, I've got the identity of an African. Cause if you come from Trinidad, and if you come from Nassau, and if you come from Cuba, you're an African. So don't care where you come from, as long as you're a black man, you're an African. No mind So don't care where you come from, as long as you're a black man, you are an African. No mind denomination, that is only segregation, you are an African. Cause if you go to the Catholic, and if you go to the Methodist, and if you go to the Church of God, you're an African. So don't care where you come from, as long as you're a black man, you're an African. No mind your nationality, I've got the identity of an African. Cause if you come from Brixton, and if you come from Eastday, and if you come from Eastday, and if you come from Bronx, and if you come from Brooklyn, and if you come from Queens, and if you come from Manhattan, and if you come from Canada, and if you come from Miami, and if you come from Switzerland.
Alright, so you hear it, Peter Tosh. As long as you're a black man, you're an African. So, if you continue to say you're Jamaican, yes, you're Jamaican, but by nationality, seen? So, we are here. And for those of you who are unaware that the United Nations, this year, they started, in fact, ending December 2014, starting January 1, 2015, the General Assembly of the United Nations has declared the next decade people of African descent, recognition and development. So it's the international decade for the people of African descent. And you know, we have come a far way. We have come a far way when we were trying to get our foot into the League of Nations, when Haile Selassie went to the League of Nations meeting to try and, you know, talk about what is happening in Ethiopia with the Italian invasion, and they mocked him and jeered him and so on. The League of Nations eventually become the United Nations. And the United Nations now have declared the next decade, starting January this year, the international decade for the people of African descent. So we have come a far way. We have come from Black History Week, started in the 20s in the United States. It spread. Now we had Black History Month. And now we have a decade for ourselves. So we give thanks for small mercies. So we move from Black History Month. Now we have a decade where people of African descent will get their recognition, justice, and development. And of course, this is according to the United Nations General Assembly. Now, the main objective of this international decade, and that is, of course, we said, is the international decade for the people of African descent, is to promote respect, protection, and fulfillment of all human rights and the fundamental freedoms for people of African descent as recognized in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Now, this decade, which will end December 31, 2024, will provide an opportunity to recognize the significant contribution made by people of African descent to our societies, and to promote and propose concrete measures to promote their full inclusion, to combat all forms of racism, racial discrimination, xenophobia, and related intolerance. I will pause here now, because over 100 years ago, Marcus Garvey asked the question, where is the black man kingdom? Where is the black man navy? Where is the black man power? Yes, there are individual, successful black people, but where is the black man kingdom? And 100 years later, Marcus Garvey might be turning in his grave right now, still wondering, where is the black man kingdom? The Indians, the Chinese in Jamaica, when they work, they put their money back in China. Where is the black man kingdom up to this day? Marcus Garvey asked that question 100 years ago. And I know we don't have a black man king. We don't have a navies on the seas. We don't have so much things. So we have a far way to go. This is a decade for people of African descent according to the United Nations. So we have work to do. Of course, this decade shall focus on the following objectives: to strengthen national, regional, and international action and cooperation in relation to the full enjoyment of economic, social, cultural, civic, and political rights by people of African descent, and their full and equal participation in all aspects of society. We continue to fight. Another objective of the International Decade for the People of African Descent: to promote a greater knowledge of and respect for the diverse heritage, culture, and contribution of African descent to the development of societies. And we can point to so much things that Africans or blacks, their contribution to civilization, and these are the things that will be promoted in the International Decade for People of African Descent. Another objective: to adopt and strengthen national, regional, and international legal frameworks in accordance with the Durban Declaration of Programme of Actions and the International Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Racial Discrimination, and to ensure their full and effective implementation. The International Decade for People of African Descent will enable the United Nations, member states, civil society, and all other relevant actors to join with people of African descent and take effective measures for the implementation of the program of activities in the spirit of recognitions, justice, and development. Yes. So Africans, black people, yeah, we same one. We have a decade. We don't have a month alone now. We don't have Black History Month alone, or we don't have Black History Week alone. We have a decade. And the next thing will be a century. So we're grateful for small mercies. See? So we work with the Black History Week, we work with the Black History Month, and now we work with the decade of people of African descent. We're going to discuss that some more, but go on, listen to some Peter Tosh now, some more Peter Tosh, because we have to rub it in the consciousness of our people now. We are African. 95% of us here in Jamaica are African descent, and we just have to rub that in. Yes, we are Jamaicans, but that is by nationality. Your race? African. Okay, so it's a long time the African disciples have been telling us also about Africa. So we continue with some more information out of the continent. The results of the Nigerian elections were decided. Well, they are in. And the former military ruler, Muhammad Buhari, of the All Progressive Congress, is the new leader of Africa's richest and most populous nation, Nigeria. Now, President Goodluck Jonathan, who was seeking a second full term, well, he called Buhari last Tuesday to congratulate him on the election victory and conceded defeat in the bitterly contested race. Jonathan's, according to reports, his sinking popularity gave way to Buhari's fierce campaign on security and anti-corruption, which helped him win crucial states in the north and south. Lagos State, the former capital, southern economic hub, and Africa's most populous city, was a crucial win for Buhari. He is a northern Muslim. The opposition candidate took 792,460 votes in the key swing state, while Jonathan of the People's Democratic Party won 632,327,000. Buhari also scored crushing defeats in the northern Muslim states of Kaduna and Kanu, with neighbor his home state of Katsina. He took Kaduna with more than 1.1 million votes to Jonathan's 484,000. According to the Times in Nigeria, Buhari also won more than 1.9 million votes compared with Jonathan's 215,000 in Kanu. Nigeria's second most populous state, one of the areas hit hardest by Boko Haram's insurgents. And speaking about that, Muhammad Buhari, the president-elect, said that he'll spare no efforts in going after the Islamist militant group of Boko Haram. We'll see how that one pans out. But some very interesting happenings there in Nigeria. And as you heard, Nigeria has the richest set of black people in Africa. And as we talk about that, let's give you some more facts on this great continent. The Nigerian, as we said, they have the richest black people in Africa. They have won more football cups than England. Nigeria, that is. Zimbabwe and its president, Robert Gabriel Mugabe. Did you know that he's the world's most educated president with 7 degrees, 2 of them masters? And, you know, we have heard all the propaganda about Mugabe and what he's doing to win back the land for the indigenous peoples of that southern African state. And guess what? I'm on record as saying that I, Roger Asphalt, support Robert Mugabe in his quest to regain the land for the people, the indigenous people of Zimbabwe. And I will not be swayed by any propaganda or anything that is said otherwise, because we have known what took place in that state over 100 years ago in terms of the elimination of the people by force and brutality and conquest. So I give thumbs up to Mr. Mugabe for what he's doing. I don't care. I'm not watching the major international news and all the propagandas and so on. There's a thing that we must be aware of, that the indigenous people will always be the indigenous people of any land. And people having issues with him, I have no issues with him. Claim back your land for the people, the indigenous people of that African state. See? So that's Robert Mugabe. And as you heard, he's one of the most educated presidents ever in the world. He has whole heap of masters, degrees. And he was also jailed for 11 years for fighting for freedom. He's now 90 odd, and there's a lot of ridicule about him. The other day he had a fall, and there was, of course, a lot of ridicule and so on. But that's all right. I'm not watching the propaganda. Do your thing, Mr. Mugabe. You have to do what you have to do. All right, coming up shortly, we'll be having our first interview of the morning here on the Africa Forum, as we are here to reunite the African family for development. And we'll be looking at the Ethiopian Easter, Fasika. And we'll be speaking shortly with Mr. Ibi Griffith. He's the deacon of the Ethiopian Orthodox Towedo Church, situated down there in Maxfield Park, down there in Kingston, 13. Yeah. And, of course, according to the Gregorian calendar, the Ethiopian Easter starts a week after the Western Easter. So, today, in the Western world and the Christian societies elsewhere in Western civilization, today is being celebrated as Easter Sunday. In fact, in Ethiopia, today is Palm Sunday. So last week Sunday here in Western civilization, we had Palm Sunday. Well, today in Ethiopia is Palm Sunday. And of course, I mean, if you're not aware of the Ethiopian Orthodox history, well, it's one of the founding members of Christianity, one of the most ancient religions in the world. And we all know about the story of the Ethiopian eunuch and so on, and the formation of the Ethiopian Orthodox Church as one of the founding members. It is also one of the founding members of the World Council of Churches. And the Ethiopian Easter started today. And of course, in fact, according to the Gregorian calendar, Lazarus Saturday started, well, it was yesterday. Palm Sunday is today. Holy Monday, tomorrow. Holy Tuesday, April 7. Holy Wednesday on April 8. Holy Thursday, which we know a lot here, it falls on April 9. Good Friday, April 10. And Holy Saturday falls on April 11. And Easter Sunday on April 10. So, we are standing by to speak with Ibi Griffith as he will tell us more about the Ethiopian Orthodox Church celebration of Easter this year, and we stand by for that.
bring us home. So long we have been a slave and no more will we roam. So I hope and I pray that the day will come when we see the rising sun. When no more crying, nor victimizing, no more starvation, no more killing. Africa is a land of home, yeah. Africa is the land where I and I belong. All the times I sit right down and remember those chains. All my people was in slavery time and time ago. Oh, I know that one day when the right time comes, so easily, then we will see no more crying, no victimizing, no more starvation, no more, yeah, yeah. Home. So long we have been a slave and no more will we roam. So I hope and I pray that today will come when we see the rising sun. All the times I sit right down and I remember those chains. All my people was in slavery time and time and time again. So easily, you will see.
Gather us out to the corners of the earth. Teach us some more about humility. Oh, can't we see? We've denied ourselves of blessings. In the time we learned our lessons that we should serve the Almighty. Tegeral makwagi, takawal watai, ni watakar ni sherdemo. African Polole, you boil a collie and you lick it. African Polole, you boil a collie and you lick it. Africans unite, Africans unite. At home on the road, they shine on light. Africans unite, Africans unite. First you gotta find the love, then let your light shine. Humankind, you gotta dig deep down in your soul. You gotta find the love that just gives you and shine on light. Africans unite.
Okay, Baba Mal featuring our very own Luciana, Africans Unite. Well, the Ethiopian Orthodox Tawahada Church was established in Jamaica on May 23, 1970 by the late Archbishop His Eminence Abuna Yishak. He was sent to Jamaica by His Imperial Majesty Emperor Haile Selassie to establish this authentic African Christian faith. Its headquarters is located at 89 Maxfield Avenue, Kingston 13, called the Holy Trinity UTC, and the church's history dates back to the conversion of the Ethiopian eunuch by the Apostle Philip in the Acts of the Apostles 8:26-39. At this time, it gives me great pleasure to introduce our first guest of the morning, Deacon E.B. Griffiths of the Ethiopian Orthodox Church, and we're going to talk a little about Ethiopian Orthodox Church's Easter. Good morning, Deacon E.B.
Yeah, morning. Tenaya still in, Raja. How you doing?
I'm great to know that you're staying as well. So we're here, and we just want to get some enlightenment on the Ethiopian history. We know that it's a week later than the traditional Western civilization event. So talk to us about the celebrations of the Ethiopian Orthodox Easter, and we can also delve into the celebrations here in Jamaica as well.
Well, as they know, they traditionally, in the Western world, they will celebrate like 40 days for the Lent. According to Ethiopian dates, Ethiopian time, it's 55 days. So first I want to talk about the additional 15 days that was added.
Yes.
To it. The first 7 days of the fast is dedicated to Emperor Heraclius of the Byzantine Emperor who lived in 1614 AD. That 7 days now, some Persians, they went to Jerusalem and took a cross. We call it, in Ethiopia they call it meskel.
Mm-hmm.
They took that to their country, and the emperor had to go back with an expedition to take the cross. He had to in a war, you had to kill some people to retrieve the cross.
Right.
And as you know, murder is a great sin.
Mm-hmm.
So what he did when he came back to Jerusalem, all Christian people realized that he has been an emperor. He'd have to fast personally for the rest of his life, due the fact that he went there to retrieve the cross. So what they did, they calculate, a man's lifespan is 70.
Yes.
So they calculated his lifespan, and all the Christian people, all the faithful decided that they would share the fast for him for an extra week. So that's how the first 7 days came about, and that was canonized.
And that's the first of the 55 days?
That's the first 7 days out of the 55.
Okay.
All right. The last, so that's 7 added to the 55. Then now at the end of that, now the last week, which is Passion Week. Passion Week starts from tomorrow, because today is actually Palm Sunday.
Yes.
The apostles had that 7 days to fast further. Because as you know, the apostles will observe the fast more than a regular faithful due to their responsibility.
So just stick up in there. So we are saying now that today, while we are celebrating Easter Sunday here in the Western world, it's Palm Sunday in Ethiopia.
Palm Sunday in Ethiopia.
Okay.
Today is actually Palm Sunday. Tomorrow is Passion Week.
Yes.
Passion Week will start off tomorrow up until the climax. This Saturday coming for Easter.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So that's all the 15 days added to the 40,
mm-hmm.
which is a separation from the West.
Right. So you have 55 days of fasting, ending when?
Ending Saturday coming.
When?
Is it the 11th?
The 11th. That is next week.
That is next week, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, today started their week, so yeah, the next week.
Yes. So during that 55 days, what is the traditional things that are forbidden and what can be done throughout this fast? And tell us about the traditions as well of the fast.
All right. The fast is really subjecting itself from pleasurous, not to indulge in pleasure, things that bring pleasure. It's more of, sackcloth, mourning, restricting, subjecting your body to be obedient to Christ, you know what I mean? So some of the things, anything pleasurous, certain food, the time you normally eat food, from 12 midnight till 12 the following day. You know what I mean? Some or 3 o'clock. Because if you're a farmer, if you're a working person, a hard-working person, or an elder, if you have medication to take our children, sometimes they normally break them fast at 12. But for an able-bodied person, sometimes they go to 3. Some of the Batawis and monks and bishops will go to at least 6 o'clock in the afternoon. So from 12 midnight till 6 o'clock in the afternoon. That is just for food.
Yes.
But the most important thing is really your mind. You fast from lust, you fast from envy, you fast from saying bad things, you fast from thinking evil. Also, as you know, sex is a very pleasurous thing. So for that whole 55 days, you will abstain.
Okay, so you abstain from sexual activities during that 55 days.
Abstain from having sexual intercourse. And you give almsgiving. You give to the poor, you give to the needy, you visit the sick. So in that time, you are just more giving, more than receiving. Charity is paramount. It's very important.
Yes.
To extend charity during that 55 days.
Yes. So today is Palm Sunday. Tell us of a typical Ethiopian Orthodox Palm Sunday.
All right. As you know, we bring palms to the church.
Yes.
To be blessed and distribute, because another important aspect of the fast is prayer as well. For the 55 days, it's constant prayer, 7 times a day, and they have lessons for each day, readings for each day from Psalms and some of the Gospels from the Bible. So each day carry a reading. And each week is separated. So no drums are beaten for up until today, because today is a celebration where Christ, before he was chastised, he walked through in victory. And as you say, he rode the mule or the horse through into Jerusalem. So that's where people put down their clothes, put their palms, to celebrate his entry. So today will be drums. After not having drums for that period of time, today will be drums and singing Hosanna, Hosanna in the highest, Hosanna in the highest.
Right. So, as we said, this week is the last week of Lent, traditionally called Passion Week. But you have a couple of Sundays that are being observed leading up to the ending of Lent. You can tell us about what happens on the first Sunday, the second, third Sunday, and so on, down to the 5th Sunday and 6th Sunday.
All right. Yeah, man. No problem. All right. The worry day?
Yes.
That will be the first Sunday. Mm-hmm. The one who descends from above. You know what I mean? And that as well coincide with some hymns, because when come on to Ethiopia, everything is tradition coming from the apostolic faith. So if it's named the worry day, I mean that has meanings behind it. One who descends. And that will go back to us, our book name, Synaxarium. That will be coincide with a date during that time, with an event that happened. So everything is interlinked.
Yes.
So that's the first one. And a guy named St. Jared, he's the musician, he's the father of church music. So he would have hymns and chanting. You cannot like in the West, we have English and support. So like Geese, they would have a Geese chant to coincide with that. The second Sunday we call Kiddush. Kiddush means holy. I tell the holiness of that Sunday. The third Sunday, Kheru. The third Sunday will be Kheru. And that reminds us of our Lord during his ministry taught in the synagogue. So readings for that whole week would be about the synagogues and how Christ himself approached and teaches how they're faithful to conduct and lead the people. On the fourth Sunday, Mexico means the one who is informed.
Yes.
And you can find that in John 5:1-9.
Yes.
So that's the one informed. And a hymn of healing of the sick and giving sight of the blind by the Lord is sung on that day. Right. So for persons who have infirmities would be healed during that time. So certain prayers, special prayers will be prayed for the sick during that time.
Yes.
The fifth Sunday is called Deborah-Zit. And as you know, Deborah-Zit is a Mount of Olives.
Yes.
It means a Mount of Olives. Mount of Olives. And as I've mentioned again, songs and hymns will sing and be read to celebrate that specific week.
Yes.
The fifth Sunday, Garvey. As is a good servant. As a good servant. And the story of the good servant who received the 5 talents and made a profit of 5 more talents is told and sung on that day. So that's talking about the servant, many persons, even in Jamaica and in the West will know about the talent.
Yes.
Person has the talent and increase on it.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. The seventh is called Nicodemus. And Nicodemus, a commemoration of the coming of Nicodemus to our Lord during the night. Because you know about the story of Nicodemus.
Yes.
Yeah. He came by night to see our Lord. So that will be Nicodemus. So songs will be sung and readings and teaching about Nicodemus' story. The 8th Sunday, which is today, will be Hosanna. Hosanna in the islands. That's Palm Sunday. And it's a commemorative day on which our Lord entered into the temple in triumph. In which the people sang Hosanna in the highest. That's when palms, a celebration, because he's riding through. So that will be today.
Yeah, great. We have a short time, less than 2 minutes. Tell me about the Jamaican Ethiopian Orthodox Church now in its celebration of Easter today, this Ethiopian Easter.
All right. Ethiopian Easter, I don't know what you mentioned, Passion Week coming up to Saturday. Normally, Ethiopian Orthodox Church celebrates, Sunday predominantly, but Saturday is a service as well. Actually, in Ethiopia, every day is church, especially for the Lenten period. Every single day church open, you can go and pray, and they will have mass and some other day, not just Sunday. But for this Easter coming up, we'll normally have the service on Saturday.
Yes.
Normally service on Saturday, which is 11th. Saturday night into the 12th. Because as you know, Christ was really early before day, as the scripture stated.
Yes.
So Sunday wouldn't be a regular church day. Sunday would be the feast where the Easter starts. Because Easter is really for 50 days, which lead up to Pentecost. And then the fasting start back again, like on Monday and Wednesday. So from Saturday, you have 50 days of feasting, eat and drink, no restriction in time. So this Saturday we're going to have a mass service starting from 6 p.m. in the afternoon, and that will go about till 1 a.m. Sunday morning, which the feast will start now. So it's drumming, celebration, reading, procession around the church. That's the whole traditionally giving up gifts, because as you know it's Easter. I mean, not this, you know what I mean, traditional in the West is bun and cheese, but it's just, we just have feasting. People who didn't have meat, I don't know, in Ethiopia, they do consume meat. So, meat dishes will be cooked, vegetarian dishes will be cooked as well. And just giving up gifts, giving up love, rejoicing in Christ's resurrection, singing. You know, that's a joyful time. That's to commemorate the ending of the 65 days of fast.
Okay, great. Thanks very much for your presence on the program this morning. Very enlightening, Ibi. And we look forward to hearing more out of the Ethiopian Orthodox Church. And, of course, happy Easter, Ethiopian Easter.
It's Malcolm Fasika.
Fasika.
Yeah, man, Fasika is Easter. Malcolm is happy.
All right, thanks much.
All right, give thanks.
Yeah, man, that was E.D. Griffith, the deacon of the Ethiopian Orthodox Church. So here, they heard it. Of course, the Ethiopian Orthodox Church, one of the world's most ancient churches. And if you read the Acts of the Apostles, the Ethiopian Orthodox Church dates back to that time.
Gather the souls to the corners of the earth. Teach us some more about you,
yen.
Farm the land, tile until me done. Upper ground yo, reap with sense meal yo. Down a market no, and sell laugh with pack chow. We can't continue to borrow away out of poverty. In Jamaica, we know the history. Man have a bundong plantation to get recognition. All 100 years after, we still face oppression. So here come the two P's. Where one thing them agree. No third party. We spring from the same biological granny. Make we go bush yo, reap banana yam cocoa. Make we farm the land, tile until me done. Upper ground yo, reap with sense meal yo. Down a market no, and sell laugh with pack chow. 1928 Garvey come with the first political party. With a manifesto we can use in this 21st century. But the masses of the time, they were way behind. Some missed the boat. That no joke. The unions try help, but them fall in the same trap. Dues pan top of dues, and the hardships still never stop. Make we go bush yo, reap banana yam cocoa. Make we farm the land, tile until me done. Upper ground yo, reap with sense meal yo. Down a market no, and sell laugh with pack chow. In Jamaica we like a modern day job. yearning to succeed with another blow. The pace seems fast, but to many, things slow. It dreadful pon this your modern plantation, where every day man a face peer frettation. We a work hard to build this a system up, and all we left with is a source of pocket we broke. Make we go bush yow, reap banana yam, cocoa. Make we farm the land, tile until me done. Upper ground yo, reap with sense meal yo. Down a market no, and sell laugh or pack chow. Alright, this is the Africa Forum, Running African. Roger Haspel holding the 4.4 Kabu today. And we are here uniting the African family for development. You just heard a little piece regarding Go Bush. And we really wanted that to lead into this, because coming up later this year, we'll be having the Jamaica Ganja Festival and the Ganja Cup. It's Thanksgiving week, and that will be held right here in Ocho-Rios, Jamaica. To tell us more about this interesting happening, we have Paul Chang online. He joins us now. Good morning, Paul, and welcome.
Good morning, Roger. Blessings, Jamaica. One love to all my brothers and sisters and the Rastafari community in particular.
Yeah, man, many happy returns too. All right, the Jamaica Ganja Festival and the Ganja Cup. Two different things. This is one or what? Enlighten us.
The Rastafari Millenium Council, about a month ago, appointed me as their revenue generation consultant, recognizing that the Rastafari sisters and brothers spend their time, primarily on spiritual and matters like that. And being a friend of the Rastafari from the early 90s, when the Rastafari centralization organization, I met with the brothers, the elders in Doheny Park, and they agreed to join the Legalized Ganja campaign, which was the first modern day reform movement, which was broad-based. It was a number of people from uptown originally, like myself, and then we joined the grassroots and we became a wider coalition. And that morphed over the years. And in 2010, in 1999, the National Alliance of Legalization was founded, and that organization within the PNP mandated the Patterson government to set up the Siobhan's Commission. Fast forward again, in 2010, the Ganja Law Reform Coalition was the first incorporated reform entity, and its founding chairman was the late Barry Siobhan's. I now chair that organization. And then a few years ago, when the government started to actually move towards reforming the laws now, the Ganja Future Growers and Producers Association was founded by myself and some other leading reformers, Paul Burke, Delana Seawright, and it was actually founded by another group called the Cannabis Commercial and Medicinal Research Task Force, which is headed by U.S. Dr. Archibald McDonald, and it also has myself, Paul Burke and Delana Seawright as some of the founding members. The Rastafari Millennium Council, as you know, is the second legally incorporated Rastafari body. I think the first was the original Cup.Mis back in the 70s and 80s, who have started to re-energize themselves in Jamaica early last year and got really active after January 4th, when there was a closed-door session where the new law was actually put before the reform movement, and we had a chance to see what was really coming, which is happening now. As you know, the law is passed through both houses, the lower house and the upper house, and is been assented by the Governor General, and is awaiting to go through the ministry system so that the minister can actually issue the gazetting order, and we're waiting on that, and we hope that sometime this month that the Minister of Justice will sign and gazette the orders to actually legalize certain aspects of ganja.
Okay, stick up in there.
New law has a number of doorways.
Yes, stick up in there.
Focus on one today in particular, what was called the Rastafari Sacramental Rights. And the minister is in the process of putting together a Rastafari Advisory Council, as he had a Cup.Mis Advisory Council that he worked with over the years to help guide and work with the ministry and government in drafting new legislation. So the Rastafari Advisory Council, I think, is a body, and I'm speaking out of the loop because I'm not involved in it directly, but I'm aware of what's happening, will be what will be used by the minister to actually say, okay, this particular group, the Pitford Nyabingi or the Obashanti in St. Thomas, these are authorized Rastafari groups, and as such, their lands are sacred. They can apply for permits and will be issued permits to grow, process, whatever with the sacred herb. The Rastafari Millenium Council has a concept called the Rastafari Villages, which we're developing two initially, one with the Pitford Nyabingi in Montego Bay, and in St. Anne's Bay with a newly formed St. Anne Botanical Growers, Producers and Healers Association, which is a Rastafari group. Some of the Ganja Future Growers and Association groups in the parishes are mixed, such as the Westmoreland Hempen Farmers, and some in say, St. Anne and St. Mary are pretty much all Rastafari. So it's an unusual grouping of groups. I was meeting with Cuba and some of the leaders in Negril just a couple of days ago, discussing the fact that the Westmoreland Rastafari need to organize themselves into a Rastafari group, separate and apart, but still a part of the Westmoreland Hemp and Ganja Growers Association, because a mixed group cannot get sacramental rights, and as such, I'll be actually going back to Negril again to meet with some of them today to discuss how the process can move forward.
Okay, Paul?
The festival in Negril, which is being geared around Thanksgiving.
Yes. Just stick up in here. So, just the interpretation of the law that is to be gazetted, because we had invited the minister to come on program this morning. He couldn't make it. He told me. He also put me onto the legal reform person in the ministry. He said he couldn't come on as well, because he wanted was to speak about the interpretation of the law. You spoke earlier about groups that could be granted special permits for sacred rights and religious rights and so on. And a part of the law, in terms of the interpretation, we understand that even if one is held or one is caught with less than 2 ounces, it's a ticketed offense. Enlighten us, or what is your interpretation, first of all, about this law that is coming in terms of this ganja law?
Yeah, without strong leadership, what the government has settled on through consensus is to work within the existing UN conventions. And in 2016 in Vienna, UNGAS, Jamaica has taken an active role, and in fact, at the last CARICOM meeting, the CARICOM Secretariat set up a group within the CARICOM to look on ganja law reform. And we were hoping that this week, when the CARICOM leaders were here meeting with Obama, that we could have some type of statement made to the CARICOM leaders and to Obama. It could be telling, because Obama just recently federally gave legal rights to the American Indians, the American Aboriginals, or the First Nations, as they call them in Canada, to grow ganja legally, among other plant substances. So it would be very interesting to see if Obama makes comment on that when he's here in Jamaica this week, not only what Jamaica is doing in the ganja law reforms, in particular in terms of the sacred rights of the indigenous people and the Rastafari and the Maroons, but also what it means to our CARICOM sisters and brothers down in the Eastern Caribbean. On January 1st, myself and Pancho de Kiers in St. Lucia, we founded the Caribbean Cannabis Law Reform Coalition, and they're still struggling. They're about 20, 30 years behind us. You know, if you imagine, just this week was the anniversary of the Coral Gardens incident, and the vibes down in Eastern Caribbean is not much different than it was back in immediately after independence in 62 when the Coral Garden incidents took place. Although we're very progressive here in Jamaica, our sisters and brothers in the Eastern Caribbean need help, and we're linking to help them. But let's get back to Jamaica. The Dangerous Drugs Amendment Act 2015 decriminalizes ganja for personal use. And this is a general broad principle for everyone, meaning if you're caught with less than 2 ounces, there are different procedures which will take place, except for visiting adults. If they present a medical marijuana permit from, say, their state of California or Health Canada or the Dutch government or whichever jurisdictions actually issue permits for medical marijuana, they will either present it at the airport when they arrive in Jamaica or the seaport, or sign an affidavit that they have such a permit, pay a licensing fee, which is a tax measure really, it's a revenue measure on behalf of the government, and they will be issued a permit in Jamaica to be exempt from that decrim law. It would actually be legal for these visitors, adult visitors, to have 2 ounces on their possession anytime. So they will have a permit, and if stopped by the authorities, that permit will exempt them from any procedure. Similarly, Rastafari, under sacred rights, will have legal permits. These are actually physical documents like a driver's license issued to grow, process, transport to, and use at sacred venues and locations. And these venues would involve quote-unquote public events, such as the festival we're planning for the Thanksgiving weekend here at White River in November, this 2015. At these sacred events, obviously, the use of the sacrament at these sacred events will be made public so that others who are not aware of the Rastafari rights and traditions will be aware that at these events and venues that the sacrament will be in use. The smoking laws of Jamaica, which we're putting for tobacco, applies to ganja. It doesn't make any difference, except at these public events, the smoking laws do not apply. So the Rastafari have a unique provision under the law, and the Maroons, I think, to a lesser extent, to actually possess cannabis on their possession. So if, for instance, the event is happening in November at White River, and the Westmoreland Group has a booth and they want to grow on holy herb, or they want to process medical oils or salves, they can actually get a permit to grow and process that in Westmoreland, to transport that legally on the roads of Jamaica to the event, and for it to be traded, used, consumed, whatever event. From the Rastafari, remember that the ganja is for the healing of the nation. So the use of ganja is not necessarily just the smoking as a holy sacrament or its consumption in the steam pipe.
Okay, I got you. But I want to ask this question though, and this is a very critical thing that I wanted to ask the minister. You spoke about visitors who can be exempt in terms of, if they are caught with 2 ounces or less. But for the common man, it's a ticket.
No, any medical doctor can issue a prescription to any Jamaican. Any licensed medical doctor can issue a prescription to any Jamaican. We're starting a hospital, a health clinic in Montego Bay with a very unique health center. We're partnering with the Harborside Health Center in Oakland, California, the largest cannabis dispensary in the world, and one of the leading brands as a community health tourism enterprise. We have some very serious people involved. Dr. Dinglespez is our oncologist. The Rastafari Millenium Council is a member of the Montego Bay Health Center, and we're in discussions with Dr. Henry Low and Ganja, the platform that we'll be developing. So, Mrs. Winsome Lewin, who is the mother I met a year ago, who has a 16-year-old son who needs cannabis oils, she's been actually bringing them into Jamaica importing them from licensed dispensaries in California and working the system her own way and bringing the medicines in for her son, and could not believe how her son's life has changed since this took place. So the new law will allow actually medicines to be imported legally immediately, and seeds and genetics to do research and development, to develop medicines in Jamaica, and for people to be issued prescriptions. The Minister of Justice has asked, and a number of us are setting up a new professional group of alternative healthcare practitioners other than medical doctors, who the Minister will grant the authority to issue prescriptions so that traditional healers, say a lot of the Rastafari healers, Ra in St. Anne's Bay, the head of in Brownstown, the head of the Brownstown group, or Brother Joe in Pittsford, these are healers, and they, through this new organization which is being founded, should be able to as well issue prescriptions of a different level.
Okay.
The cannabis is going to be available in 3 different levels: at the pharmaceutical industry level, through drugstores and things like that, and that's where the doctors come in. You have the alternative healthcare, where you have nutraceuticals and functional foods, where it's not even more medicine, it's more like a superfood, the hemp seed oil or the cannabinoids as super vitamin. Cannabis, it boosts every cell in the body to function better, and it boosts the immune system. So it's beyond medicine, it's a food, a natural superfood. And all these properties that have been hidden and demonized over the years are coming to light, just as they told us how coconut oil was bad for us, and cane sugar. Now the premium drinks in Europe have printed on the labels made from cane sugar, and we know what is happening with coconut oil now. It's no longer demonized for the soybean industry's benefit. We in Jamaica need to go back to our basics.
Okay, great.
Ganja.
All right, great. Quickly now, as we wrap up, talk to us quickly about what will be happening at the Jamaica Ganja Festival, Ganja Cup, right here in Ocho-Rios.
There are 3 different brands being created, and from the point of view of the sacred rites and ceremonies, the first event is the sacred herbs, oils, and healing convention and celebration, which includes the gathering of the ancients and elders of the Rastafari and indigenous peoples, and that is the main sacred event. And within that, we have the Ganja, the Jamaica Ganja Festival and the Ganja Cup, which are brands which should eventually could spin off on their own, separate and apart from the sacred events. It's being held within a sacred event with sacred herbs, but with the idea in mind that we'll be able to move it into the wider marketplace when the law reforms after stage 2. In discussions with the Ganja Future Growers and Producers Association and other groups, we're also looking to do a dual event possibly, so that we'll have 2 events every year. We'll have one at Denby, which is the agricultural show, paired with the one in the tourist belt in the U.S. Thanksgiving. So the 2 different markets at the 2 events are related, and we're in the process of working them out together with the 2 events. It's at the discussion stage. So we'll have one at Denby, and then the one in at the U.S. Thanksgiving weekend, geared to but both culminating in what we call the Ganja Cup. And over the years, we hope to develop this as a major tourist event and attraction for all Jamaica. It's starting in Ocho-Rios, St. Anne, because we have a Rastafari venue on the river, but it will rove around Jamaica and primarily be geared towards the tourist belts.
Okay, we look
the South Coast to St. Thomas.
Okay, so we look forward to speaking to you much more as the time draw closer regarding this.
Yeah, this is at the conceptual stage, and obviously we're going to engage IRA FM directly.
Yes.
To be a major part. And who should I speak to at IRA FM since I have you here on the phone?
Well, you'll speak to our programs director, Ms. Kabu Mat.
Well, I'll speak to your person, Simone, and arrange that.
All right, thank you very much, though.
It's an exciting time for Jamaica and many changes. So it's not just a Ganja festival, it's a healing and it's for economic development and empowerment of people at the grassroots.
Yes, it's about time. Thanks much.
You're welcome.
Paul Chang. And of course, he's the convener of the Jamaica Ganja Festival 2015 and Ganja Cup, and that will be held right here in Ocherius later down in the year. So we're going to step out like a mazooka. And of course, we'll now talk to Muta Baruka as he's heading off to the Reggae Festival in the Ivory Coast. And we catch him on just before him took off. Take off, that's what we call take off, took off. But he joins us now. Muta!
Yes, sir.
Morning, sir.
Morning, man, morning.
Step in.
Yeah, man, cutting.
Yeah, and cutting too. Cutting through to Ivory Coast. Tell us about where you're heading and what's the occasion.
Well, you just said a while ago, we're headed to the Ivory Coast, and this is the inauguration of a reggae festival that will be held from Thursday to Sunday. And it featured artists is Third World, Morgan Heritage, Kimani Marley, myself, Master Griffiths, Judy Moore, Alpha Blondy, and a lot of artists from all over Africa. Plus, there will be a conference there speaking on reggae, Rastafari and thing, and this includes Jalani, myself, and others, and ones from across Africa. All of these will be converging in Abidjan this week. So we're about to board the flight now. That is really what's happening.
Yes. So for those people who said, Lord, Muta gone again, no one get to listen cutting edge and stepping
the thing about this trip is,
yes.
All right, the promoters who is keeping the festival, they just started a radio station named Zion FM. And what they are trying to do, they're trying to link up IRFM with Zion FM. And so what we are going to do Wednesday and Thursday is do the broadcast live from Abidjan and see what will happen. You know, so we just hope that it will work out, but I think it is a very progressive move to actually twin two radio stations. And I think this is the first time that will ever happen in the history of radio broadcasting where two programs is actually done outside of Jamaica and in Africa, which that is the most important part. It will be done in Africa. So that is really what we're on right now.
So for the listeners, Cutting Edge, Stepping Razor will be coming live out of the African continent this week.
That is what we're trying to link up now. You know,
yeah.
As I reach up, we're talking to them up there, but
yes.
when I reach up there tomorrow, I will make sure the effort intensify to make them do what they're supposed to do, to link IRFM and see, you know, the possibilities. But, you know, the hope that it will work, and we don't see why it can't work, you know, so that is really the intention of that. But in all, this is the first time a festival of its kind is going to be held in Africa. And we really give thanks to know so we're part of that inauguration activity, you know. Mm-hmm. It's about 60 people from Jamaica that is going there.
Oh, there's a big thing.
It's a large contingent.
Big thing.
Yeah, man, a big thing. I mean, when you talk about 60 people from here to Africa, it's not an easy organizational thing, you know?
Mental repatriation, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, in terms of what will be happening and so on, I mean, this will be the same Muta coming live from those programs, or you'll be doing anything
what
different?
What is happening is that I will be performing one of the days. I think 809 will be there. They'll be back in Master Griffiths and Judy Moore. So I will be part of that performance. And then with the conferences, I will be part of the conference then. But in terms of the broadcasting, it's a cutting edge and a stepping razor. It's just that it's coming from Africa.
Same thing.
You know, we don't want to make it. Yeah, it's just that it will have some. We want to do some interviews with some Africans there. The people them who's responsible, and just get a feel of what's happening in Ivory Coast and relate it to the people them as we see it, you know.
Mm-hmm. So you leave.
And we have to draw comparisons between African states and Jamaica.
Definitely.
When I was in Gambia, we did some very unusual things to me, considering where we're coming from. Where you're in a country where the police them don't carry no gun, and it's only 4 murders in a whole year. So that was really telling. So going to Ivory Coast now, we're going to see how they relate to their social and political networking over there,
Yes.
So we can relate it to Jamaica.
Yeah, man. And Ivory Coast, of course, you might know, is a big football country. You have some of the big stars of the world football.
Well, you must know you're a sportsman.
Yeah, that too. Yes. So...
Tell me some of the name them when we look for. Tell me some of the name them.
You have people like Didier Drogba.
Drogba.
Yeah, man.
Oh, Jaladi just said Drogba a while ago. You want to talk with Jaladi?
Yeah, man. Give him a yellow.
Really, hold on. You talk with Jaladi. Hold on.
Yes, man. Mutabaruka, man. Heading off to the Ivory Coast. Yes.
Greetings.
Hi, Jalani. Morning, sir.
How you doing, my brother?
I'm great. Yeah, man. I mean, we just got the interpretation from Muta, as to what will be happening. But give us your interpretation, I mean, as to what will be happening down so Ivory Coast.
He has been far more involved from the outset in terms of various committees and meetings over the last couple of years. I came involved over the last few months, and my understanding is that the Ivory Coast is really trying to position reggae as a significant link to the past and present Africa that we know. And they understand the medium that reggae has been serving as a African voice, African liberation voice. They're not only trying to showcase the music by way of the festival which they have brought together, but they're also seeking to have what I would say is fora on the side, symposium, to really allow some of those same artists as well as people who write critically and work critically on reggae music to share what it is the production of this body of work really is responsible for in an African diaspora and an African sense. So they have 3 days of symposium which range from Marcus Garvey, Rastafari, reggae in its present and global context, with specialist papers that look at various contributions. I know Herbie Miller, for example, is one of the persons making his way from Jamaica, and he has been doing work on Mali, and Peter Tosh. But there are people from other locations also coming in, scholars from Africa, Europe, and the Caribbean, really giving multi-dimension to what reggae has produced in the last 40, 50 years.
Okay, so it's a great thing happening, and of course, we know you use a papers, man, so you will be presenting some papers, I suspect.
Yeah, I'm presenting a paper looking at the development of Rastafari since Bob Marley's passing, how it is that the movement has evolved, to say that, or been growing in the global and the local sense. So my contribution is musical, but also specifically related to Rastafari.
Okay, great. Thanks, Jalani. And of course, we'll be looking forward to what will be happening this week. And of course, as Muta said, it will be coming from Ivory Coast, the cutting edge and the stepping razor next week. And I suspect that you'll also be a part of that.
Yeah, man. Well, I feel honored to be really making this trip to Africa with Muta, because Muta is the godfather for Africa.
Yeah,
and he has been very supportive. Just in getting my own coordination and stuff, and I'm looking forward to the actual links by radio, because I think that those are the kinds of futures that are very, very important. So to have it as a reality that is not something that we imagine, but we're doing in very different ways. And I think Cutting Edge and Stepping Ways are 2 excellent programs for that to start with. Of course, it would have to be Iris, and I have to put that in,
Straight.
Yeah, man.
Straight sauce.
So to all the IRFM running African family, you know, it's perfect love and until we link forward from the continent. Yeah, man. Give thanks for the link.
Yeah, man. Perfect love, man. Jalani. Respect. One quick link with Muta.
Yes, sir.
Yes, Muta. So, safe travel, sir. And looking forward to all the happenings that will be coming out of the Ivory Coast.
Yeah, as I say, well, even the local, you have a year from the thing, you know.
Yes, man.
You know, we have a year from it without a doubt.
Mm-hmm.
But right now, at this moment in time, that's where we work for, the link.
Yes, man.
Yeah, man.
Bless up yourself, man.
And you sound good too, you know. You're going good.
All right, give a thanks, sir. I mean, one just
you're
sound
going
good.
good like the man there, you know.
Give thanks.
You play some tune with Aljana, the player.
I will have much more to you know.
Kabu don't know them tune there, so it's time to play them. Believe you, it's like the man there.
All right, give thanks, Muta.
I mean, like a scientific explanation more African.
All right, sir. I mean, we have much more to come to.
All right, sir. We are going to listen.
Bless up.
Yeah.
Muta Baruka heading off to Ivory Coast.
Radio, Irie FM.
Manhattan. Shady, 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 shady. Lie, 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 la la.
All right, music featuring traditional African big-time musician Baba Mal. And, of course, the Africa Forum, Running African, coming to you live on IRE FM. Roger Haspel holding the fort for Kabu Mahat Kheru today. And, of course, this month has been declared by the Africa Forum, the Running African, as the book month. And we'll be reviewing a book this morning entitled The Testament of Rastafari by Ras Mandito. And I guess we have him online now, Brian? Yeah? Ras Mandito.
Blessed
love, man. How you do?
Greetings, man. All in good health and spirit.
Great. All right, let's get straight into the matter at hand here. The Testament of Rastafari. And you started in your introduction. You'd like to invite some serious but timely controversy, no doubt. This book, I mean, when I'm looking at the chapters and so on in his own image and likeness, the order of Christ, what's in the name, Parliament of the Almighty, the Davidic Covenant, and so on. You say it's inviting some controversy. So what inspired you to get this book out in the public domain?
Well, Roger, let me say first of all, Rastafari, love and blessings to all listeners of IRE FM Running African. Want to give enough thanks and respect to our beloved sister Kabu, because I know that she had an important part in affording her and I this opportunity. First of all, the book is The Testament of Rastafari, Unlocking the KJV. And you know, KJV there is for the King, stands for King James Version. So it's it's the Testament of Rastafari, unlocking the King James Version, or unlocking the KJV. Now, question, why the Testament of Rastafari? The first natural response to that, Roger, is why not? And I want to go straight into it to say that Rastafari is founded upon His Imperial Majesty, Haile Selassie I. Therefore, the words of His Imperial Majesty is what followers of Rastafari should seek to, should heed to, and to all extent to follow. Let me just say, before we even go further, I want to invite my beloved brethren and sisters. Allow me to hold a little class maybe this morning, if you'll permit me to put it that way. So let us, before we go further, get out a few pencils and pens with your papers, because we have to take a few notes. There won't be enough time, I would think, to go through the fullness of certain things. So we want to take some notes that, you know, after the program, ones can go and do a little research for themselves and get the fullness. So we're looking at some utterances right now of His Imperial Majesty concerning the Bible. And a lot of our brethren and sisters are familiar with these utterances. All the ancient scriptures were written for our instruction. All the ancient scriptures were written for our instruction. That is His Imperial Majesty. I'm just giving you little pieces out of utterances. He says, we in Ethiopia have one of the oldest versions of the Bible. But however old the version may be, in whatever language it might be written, the word, and the word is in capital here, the word remains one and the same. It transcends all boundaries of empires and all conceptions of race. It is eternal. We move again. And there's another utterance. He says, today man sees all his hopes and aspirations crumbling before him. He is perplexed and knows not whither he is drifting. But he must realize that the Bible is his refuge and the rallying point for all humanity. In it, man will find the solution of his present difficulties and guidance for his future action. And unless he accepts with clear conscience the Bible and its great message, he cannot hope for salvation. For my part, I glory in the Bible. Now, Roger and listeners, these are the words of His Imperial Majesty.
Yes.
And I would say, going on from that anyone who is a follower or proposes to be a follower of Rastafari,
we have to stop all of this nonsense about who belongs to what religion when all of them were imposed on us in the first place. We stop all this fight between Muslims and Christians when neither one of the religions are doing them any good or moving them toward independence. All of them are handmaids of conquerors. All of them are religions of conquerors. We were naive when we accepted their interpretation of something that we had all along. I'm saying we need to take a good look at ourselves. I'm not talking about burning churches. I'm not talking about getting rid of religions. Understand me well. I am saying that every single thing that touches your life, religious, socially, and politically, must be an instrument of your liberation, or you must throw it into the ash can of history. We've been the victims of propaganda. Now the Bible that you get so dewy-eyed over is one of the greatest pieces of propaganda ever written. If you want to read the Bible, why don't you read the Bible one day and read Mein Kampf the next day and see the comparison? That's hard on your mind, because you think if you don't have Christianity, Islam, or Judaism, you don't have that spirituality. I've got more spirituality after I put all of them down. A lot of people need to stop reading some religious books and read some straight history without fables, without supposition, without myth. Read straight history. The Europeans doing the slave trade not only read the African out of history, they colonized history, they colonized information about history. That what you have to do is take a holistic look. Not only at your position in the world, but your potential in the world.
Let's say anyone that grows lax and presents that, I'll come to any message other than what His Imperial Majesty has said here about the Bible, then it means that one has to redo and rethink.
Okay, so in terms of the book now, the book is leading us in a particular direction. I know, because I want you to explain that, because people
why the Testament
need to interpret that.
I know.
Yeah.
There's a lot of books, a whole lot of books that our people can read and get their history and get spiritual guidance from the Almighty and so forth and so on. But the King James Version, the 1611 King James Version, is the one that brought us into slavery. It is the one that most of our people have been socialized with. If you let us remember that that version, as I've said, it was 1611. The first British slaver brought slaves to America in 1619. So we see the plan there. One of the greatest mysteries is the fact that Bible was printed with the original precepts. And whether King James knew or knew it not what he was doing, it is a fact that is one of the main things that he insisted upon. And in that particular version, those precepts are there, which carries the message to us, our people, our same people who wrote the Bible. Let me say that.
Hold a point there, Rasmandito.
Yeah.
Alright, welcome back to the Africa Forum, Running African. Roger Haspel here, holding the fort for Kheru today. And in this segment, we're reviewing the book, The Testament of Rastafari, as of course April being declared book month by the Africa Forum. And The Testament of Rastafari, written by Rasmandito. And as you heard, I mean, in his introduction, he said he really wants to invite some controversy. So Rasmandito, this book that is out there, The Testament of Rastafari, is basically out there demystifying aspects of the Bible, or the Bible, or what?
Let us look at this way. Look at it this way. We people, the vast majority of the people here in Jamaica, are the Akan people. We represent the ancient Ethiopian people, the most ancient people in the earth. What it means is that we are the people who had the first relationship with an almighty God. It means that our culture was the first culture in earth. And if there's religion, then our religion would be the first religion in the earth. Therefore, when His Imperial Majesty came to Jamaica, he said the Ethiopians and the Jamaicans are blood brothers. I don't know, we would have searched and he would have traveled and made speeches at other places in the diaspora where Africans are. But we haven't found it on record where he said that exact thing anywhere else. The Ethiopians and the Jamaicans, he said, are blood brothers. And even if we didn't know ourselves, then at that point, when the great King of Kings, Lord of Lords, conquering Lion of the tribe of Judah, came and said to us that we are blood brothers, then we should have known right away, where we are coming from. But the reason for the Testament of Rastafari is to confirm the name of the Almighty God in the earth as Rastafari, because of a truth, Raja. Many of us honor Him with our mouths, but our hearts are far from Him. And the great importance of knowing, not just saying, but knowing this secret and this fact, that Rastafari is the name of the Almighty, is the fact that the name of the Almighty God is what will defend us in this time of great trouble and tribulation. Let's go to Psalm 20 verse 1. The Lord, just write down Psalm 20 verse 1. If you can't find it, then you'll check it after the program. The Lord hear thee in the day of trouble. The name of our God of Jacob defends thee. The name of the God of Jacob defends thee. That's Psalm 20 verse 1. Isaiah 50 verse 10. Isaiah 50 verse 10. Write down Isaiah 50 verse 10.
Yeah?
Yes, Isaiah 50 verse 10.
Yes.
Who is among you that feareth the Lord, that obeyeth the voice of His servant, that walketh in darkness and hath no light? Let him trust in the name of the Lord and stay upon His God. Now I'm just giving a few, Raja, but the whole Bible is so full of the importance of knowing the name, not just, espousing it, but knowing. Psalm 25 verse 14. Write down Psalm 25 verse 14. The secret of the Lord is with them that fear Him, and He will show them His covenant. The secret of the Lord is with them that fear him, and will show them his covenant. Amos 3 verse 7. You write down Amos 3 verse 7. The Lord God doeth nothing, but revealeth his secrets to his servants, the prophets. Write down Isaiah 8. Permit me this morning, my people. Write down Isaiah 8 verse 19. And Isaiah 8.
Rastaman Dito, for the interest of time though, you know, we understand.
Yes, I understand. Well, write down Isaiah 8 verse.
Yeah. So, what I really want to ask you though, is for you to give me a synopsis of the respective topics. So, for instance, here we have the respective topics. So, for instance, here we have the order of the Christ. What's in the name? The Parliament of the Almighty. What are you trying to say in here?
Okay. The main purpose of the Testament of Rastafari, as I've said, is to confirm the name of the Almighty in this time, to confirm to our people, ourselves at this time, Judah and Jerusalem. Let me just put it this way. Look at it this way, my people. Jamaica is spiritual Jerusalem in this time. Jamaica being spiritual Jerusalem, when the Bible speaks of Judah and Jerusalem in this time, it's not just a place, it's a people. It's more a people even. So write down Isaiah 40, Isaiah chapters 40 to 44. Isaiah chapters 40 to 44. Keep in mind that Jamaica is spiritual Jerusalem, and just read all of those chapters after the program. Moving on. There's a matter now, Roger, that one has to deal with in terms of prophecy.
A prophecy according to the Bible.
Yes.
All right.
At this time, in order for us as a people to know ourselves and our God as Rastafari, and also to know our future and the impending things that are upon us, we have to deal with a thing that is called spiritual warfare. And right now, I have to ask permission to my brethren and sisters that I have to maybe knock down a few of us. But after we knock down, because we have to enforce the truth, then we have to, at the end of it, just show love, blessings, forgiveness, and reconciliation, and then we move forward in the fullness of ourselves. I speak this way because it is the matter of a Marcus Garvey that we have to deal with. And you say, why Marcus Garvey? Roger. Yes. A few years ago, my Empress brought some information to me, and she's one of the greatest researchers on the internet that I know of. You know, as a young man, I grew up with Marcus Garvey pumped in my chest, you know. Yes. I don't have such a big chest, but as a young man and coming up even as an adult, I was so pumped with Marcus Garvey that gave me the energy to approach, you know, whatever in life. And we all know what Marcus Garvey did for us in terms of his speeches and his great inspiration in these speeches. But the time has come, Roger, when all the books shall be opened, right? We see where, you know, what was hidden from the wise and prudent, the great scientists, you know, archaeologists, prophets, diviners of old. Yes. We see where those things are now being revealed to babes and sucklings and tablets. And it's interesting that we have come full circle. Yes. Roger and listeners. Yeah, man. That where the law started out on tablets, it has come full circle, where the babes and sucklings now can access
Yes.
Same law on a tablet.
Yes.
So, all the books are being opened right before our eyes.
Yeah, man, but what you were saying about Marcus Garvey, though?
Okay.
Yeah, quickly, because time is upon us.
When the Empress brought those things to me about Marcus Garvey, and I looked at it, believe you me, I divorced her for quite a few days. I hardly wanted to eat from her.
Yes.
You know?
So you had these issues. You had these issues as well. That's what you're saying.
Yes.
Okay. Well, all of us. But basically, though, because time running out, you know, we want you to tell me basically, Rasmandito, how we can access this book, where we can get it, and quickly, you know, just tell us all of that information, because we have to. In fact, you have to hold a line for us. All right, we are here again on the Africa Forum, Running African. At this segment, we are reviewing the Testament of Rastafari in our book review segment on the Africa Forum today. We have Rasmandito online. Mandito, we have 5 minutes to work with. So you were also demystifying certain aspect in regards to Garveyism.
Well, Raja, it's a pity. I have so much to share with my people, but I realize that the length of time is not convenient, you know.
Yes, because the book does say it, right? Because we're gonna implore people to go and read the book, to get the book as well.
The book might not even go in so much detail.
Well, it's a book reviewing going on.
And that particular.
It's a book reviewing, so we have to stick to the confines of the book. Remember?
Yes, the book. Let me just say before we go any further then, since we're running out of time.
Yeah, man.
The Testament of Rastafari is presently available from iNation Books. iNation Rules the Nation, you know, is a roving all over Jamaica.
Yes.
You get him at 466-3662. There are a few books available at Me Hungry. That's a great natural raw food place at the marketplace there, near CVN. That's Me Hungry. And persons can also call 384-9625, and just depending on where you are in Jamaica, you'll get it a bit cheaper than the 25 that it would be available for at iNation and Me Hungry. Having said that, Rajan, and the fact that time is running out, and as I'm saying, there's so much I would love to share, but just if our people could just take down these notes for me. Du Bois and Garvey, the collapse of. Just put that in your Google.
Rasmandito, is this in the book?
No,
man, we have to review this book reviewing, you know, Rasmandito. I mean, we have to careful how we don't venture off into.
There are prophecies in the book that speaks of a man of sin, a son of perdition. It's one of our sons that has done what our forefathers has never done. And it's difficult to give someone the title of the greatest orator in the world, yes, but at the same time, the greatest scammer in the world. And I know I create a lot of whatever out there when I say that, but it is...
Okay, so you're saying basically is that in the book, you see some interpretation and some demystifying of certain aspects, okay?
The prophecy because it has to do with the spiritual warfare and that our people has to be aware of at this time.
Because you did say in the book, honestly, that this book invites controversy, so that's what you do.
Well, not just
not just, but that's how you started off. It's a timely.
His Imperial Majesty says, "I glory in the Bible."
Yes,
and therefore, the whole purpose of the book is to show how Rastafari is glorified in the Bible.
Okay, great.
And I'm sorry, as I said, Roger, we don't have the time.
Yes.
But let us mention a few things.
Quickly, we have a minute.
Let us be aware that, for example, the media, the mass media in Jamaica has never really acted on behalf of the majority of our people.
Okay.
You know, I don't want to call names, but we all know the printed media specifically. You know, they don't print our letters. We sent out a thing on Ganja the other day. The Rastaman's case for Ganja, a divine one. None of that was highlighted in the media. The Rastaman's case being a divine one would suggest that we simply need to ask the government, the Jamaican government, to get their hands off the Rastaman's holy sacrament. Full stop. There is no room for negotiation on that one.
Okay.
But it was not carried in the Jamaican media.
All right. Well, certainly I've gotten it out here on IRI FM, and we'll talk so much. We'll talk more.
There's a follow-up release.
Yes.
A proposed Republic of Kasambu in Jamaica. The people of African descent in Jamaica making very late, but perhaps it is the appointed time to claim their sovereignty that they fought for and earned from 1739. And you know, this release, which was sent out by Queen Nanny's great grandniece, who has been here in Jamaica for the past 7 years, and most of Jamaica don't know of her, and the media did not highlight this release, but it was printed far away in Ghana.
All right, Rasmandito, we have to run now, but thanks very much for joining us this morning. We spoke specifically on your book, The Testament of Rastafari, and quickly, where we can get, again, quickly, because we have less than 30 seconds, where we can get the Testament of Rastafari.
Nation Books, 466-3662.
Yes.
Me Hungry, in the Marketplace Plaza there, and call 384-9625.
All right, thanks much.
Blessed
love. Rasmandito there, the author of The Testament of Rastafari. And as you heard, that book can be had at all the places that are known to sell books of this nature and this kind. As you heard the song by Baba Mal, Cherie, guess who walked in the studio? Cherie. Yes. Yes, it's your song, Cherie.
Yes.
Radio, IRI FM.
Featuring the music here of Baba Mal, a Senegalese singer and guitarist born in Senegal along the Senegal River of Podor. And he's well known in Africa internationally as Senegal's most famous musician. In addition to acoustic guitar, he also plays percussion. He has released several albums, both for independent and major labels. And in 2003, he was made a UNDP Youth Emissary. Baba sings primarily in Pular and is the foremost promoter of the traditions of the Pular-speaking peoples who live on either side of the Senegal River in the ancient Senegalese kingdom of Futa Furu. Stand by for news and sporting diary on right here on IRFM.
Good morning, I am Cherie Hay with the local and international headlines. The police high command has ordered a high-level probe into an incident which resulted in the death of a police constable yesterday. The cop, who was attached to the Betheltown Police in Westmoreland, was killed during an alleged robbery in Hopewell, Hanover, about 12:30 a.m. Dead is 25-year-old Kemar Beckford of Springfield in Westmoreland. The High Command says the Independent Commission of Investigations Indicom, the Bureau of Special Investigations, and the Criminal Investigation Branch are investigating the circumstances surrounding the incident. Beckford was shot dead by a policeman who owns the bar and entertainment lounge, which he was allegedly trying to rob. It is understood that he and another man went to the business place in a Honda motor car about 3:30 a.m. posing as patrons. They brandished guns and demanded money from the bartender and patrons. The owner of the bar, who is a police officer attached to the Trelawney Police, challenged them. Following a shootout, it was discovered Beckford had been shot while the other man escaped. One man was arrested and charged following the seizure of a firearm on the Spalding Main Road in Clarendon yesterday. He is 25-year-old Troy Pusey of Cumberland District in the parish. Reports from the Spalding Police are that about 3:30 p.m., Pusey was among three passengers aboard a Toyota motor car when the driver was signaled to stop. The driver complied, and he, along with the other two passengers, was being searched when it is alleged that Pusey ran off. The police gave chase, and Pusey was accosted and searched, and a 9mm Browning pistol was found on his person. He was subsequently taken into custody and charged, and is to appear before the Resident Magistrates Court on Wednesday, April 15. A man who was charged in connection with the seizure of over 1,000 pounds of cured ganja was remanded into custody when he appeared in the Mandeville RM court recently. The accused, 33-year-old mechanic Tory Russell of Shiloh District, St. Elizabeth, was remanded until April 8 when he is scheduled to reappear in court. Reports are that on Monday, March 23, Russell was taken into custody after the police seized 1,000 pounds of cured ganja in Manchester. Police say about 9:25 p.m. during an anti-narcotic operation conducted by the Manchester and Kingston Police, a Honda motor car was signaled to stop, but the driver sped away. The police gave chase and the vehicle was intercepted. Russell was held, but the other occupants managed to escape. Prime Minister Portia Simpson Miller is calling on Jamaicans to support the mission of the church in promoting positive values and strong morals. The Prime Minister, who was speaking at a church function Good Friday, says this will redound to the benefit of the nation as it will foster a greater culture of social cohesion by Jamaicans. She said some of the positive values and morals include attributes such as honesty, responsibility, and respect for others. The Prime Minister says leaders, families, and communities at every level in Jamaica must support the church in this mission, which is vital to the foundation of the society. Certificates have been awarded to 57 Justices of the Peace, JPs, who successfully completed the specialized training for the Court of Petty Sessions, which covered a wide range of court procedures. The additional training of the JPs was recommended by the Justice System Reform Task Force, which reviewed the justice system in 2006. The certificates were handed out during a ceremony held at the Knutsford Court Hotel in New Kingston last week. Minister of Justice Senator Mark Goling, who addressed the ceremony, said the participation of the JPs signals their commitment to serve the citizens of Jamaica while supporting the maintenance of order and peace in their spheres of influence. And in news overseas, Pope Francis has called for peace above all in Syria and Iraq during his traditional Easter Sunday message. He urged the international community to address the immense humanitarian tragedy in both countries. The Pope also called for peace in the Holy Land, Ukraine, Libya, Yemen, Nigeria, Sudan, and the Democratic Republic of Congo. And he once again referred to the persecution of Christians in many countries. Finally, the French authorities say they have ended the search for the bodies at the site where Germanwings co-pilot is said to have crashed his aircraft in the French Alps, killing all 150 people on board. Identification of the victims will continue with analysis of the DNA found, and the debris will carry on being removed. Meanwhile, reports said the European Commission took issue with Germany's aviation authority before the crash. Reports say it was ordered to remedy long-standing problems. Those were the local and international headlines. News is next at 11:45. You can go online to irifm.net to view some of the stories. Like us at facebook.com/irifmnews. Follow us on Twitter at irifm_news. From the IRIFM newsroom, I am Cherie Hay.
Maybe the number
The sound of the drums by Angelique Kheru. We'll be featuring some of her music for the remainder of the program here on the Africa Forum, Running African. Roger Haspel here, holding the fort for Kheru. And of course, we heard of some disturbing news coming out of Kenya this week, where Al-Shabaab gunmen ravaged through a university in the northeastern Kenya at dawn Thursday. That's Thursday morning. They killed 147 people in the group's deadliest attack in this East African country. It's understood that 4 militants were later slain by the security forces to end the siege just after dusk. So you can imagine that was a very, 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 very terrible day at the university there in the northeastern Kenyan town. The masked attackers armed with AK-47s singled out non-Muslim students at Garissa University and then gunned them down without mercy, according to survivors. Others ran for their lives, bullets whistling through the air. The men took dozens of hostages in a dormitory for several hours as they battled troops and police before the operation was ended after about 13 hours, according to witnesses. Al-Shahab spokesman Ali Mohammed Rage said fighters from the Somalia-based extremist group were responsible for the bloodshed. The Al-Qaeda group linked has been blamed for a series of attacks in Kenya, including the siege of Westgate Mall in Nairobi in 2013 that killed 67 people, as well as other violence in the north of Kenya. Most of the 147 dead were students, but there are also 2 security guards, a policeman and a soldier. They were also killed in the attack, according to the Interior Minister. So they heard it. Real disturbing news coming out there of Africa. They also have the Boko Haram catastrophe as well in Nigeria. And, these militants, according to the report, they single out non-Muslim students. So apparently, these people under the name of religion are going on a rampage. And such a terrible, terrible situation. We gather that the Kenyan government is getting some support, as it's understood that there has been a bounty issued on one of the masterminds behind this attack. A bounty of what? £220,000. That's for, or US dollars, that is, for Mohammed Mumamud, who is the alleged leader of the Al-Shahab cross-border raids into Kenya. He's the mastermind, I gather, behind this attack. So 147 dead in the university there in Kenya, and as you heard, singling out non-Muslim students. I have an issue with people doing these things in the name of religion. And why, I tell you, it's not a pretty situation at all. The Kenyan government, they identified one of the Al-Shabaab gunmen responsible for killing nearly 150 people in the attack. The son of a Kenyan government official. Just like how here in Jamaica, we heard yesterday morning that a member of the police force, a policeman, was involved in a robbery in Hanover, and he was mowed down by another police officer, only to find out that this man is a policeman in the parish. So they heard it. One of the persons responsible for the mass murder over there in Kenya is the son of a Kenyan government official, and this is very, very, very interesting coming out. 3 days of national mourning actually has been declared. I think it ends today in Kenya. And the perpetrators, they have vowed to continue their violence in other cities. So we'll just wait and see what support Kenya will get as they try to keep out the scourge of these merciless, heartless thugs under the name of religion. Because as you heard, they single out non-Muslim students at the Garissa University and gun them down, according to the survivors. So that's it out of Kenya, and certainly we hope that next week we'll have better news coming out of that East African country. Standing by to have a talk with shortly from now, we'll be looking at the attempts to exonerate Marcus Garvey in the United States courts, and we should be having a talk shortly from now with Mr. Jeffrey Phillips, and it's in regards to the exoneration of the Honorable Marcus Garvey. And of course, the Prime Minister, the Honorable Portia Simpson Miller, had declared in New York, and we'll have that speech for you shortly, that she'll be speaking with President of the United States, Barack Obama, about this issue when he comes to Jamaica. Of course, there was a petition that was sent to the White House. Apparently, it was rejected. So the Prime Minister is on record as saying that she'll reopen this thing when the President arrives. So let's wait and see how that one goes. But we'll be speaking shortly with Jeffrey Phillips. And of course, he's one of the persons behind this exoneration attempts here on the Right Honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey, Jamaica's first national hero. So stand by for that.
Yesterday, as I walked the halls of the UN, and I came on a picture and a little of the history of this great lady, I stopped to pay my respect to her, Nanny of the Maroons. Yes. What can I say? As Jamaicans, we come from strong bloodline. Yes. Whether it was Bob, Sharp, Garvey, I think I'm going to have to raise with the president when he gets to Jamaica. Yes. Yes. Marcus Garvey's name, not that great Jamaican man should never be seen as a criminal. Yes. That philosopher, that great man, I believe his name should be expunged from any criminal life. That's right. I'm proud to be daughter of God, proud to be daughter of God. I think that's why my strength and determination never waver.
All right, that was Prime Minister Portia Simpson Miller speaking recently in New York, that she intends to raise the issue of the exoneration of Marcus Garvey's criminal record with President Barack Obama when he arrives. And to help us discuss this issue, we have Jeffrey Phillip online. and he joins us now. Morning, Jeffrey.
Good morning. Greetings.
Great to have you on the program today.
Great to be on the program. It almost sounds as if we've been talking about Marcus Garvey all morning, from the interview on Herb straight through to the Ras, who just was talking about Marcus Garvey. It's good that we're talking about Marcus Garvey on Easter Sunday.
I tell you, and Palm Sunday as well in Ethiopia. So,
yes.
Spiritual connections here.
Yes.
So you were at the Prime Minister's speech recently when she made a presentation?
No, I was not in New York, but it was reported on in the Observer, and this naturally aroused the curiosity of my colleagues in this fight.
And you just heard her a while ago, though. You heard excerpts of that speech.
Yes.
Okay.
No, I'd heard the speech before this.
Okay.
Because the members of our group, we have a daily Google search on Marcus Garvey.
Yes.
So any news about Marcus Garvey that appears anywhere, we are immediately on it.
Hold a point there, because there are a lot of things or speeches on YouTube regarding Marcus Garvey. Are most of them authentic?
Most of them are given by the ones that I've heard. The most of them are excerpts from the man who does Marcus Garvey very well, Mr. Semple.
Yes. You mean his impersonator?
Yes.
Okay.
So a lot of people borrow those, and he does a very good interpretation.
Yes. There's a particular one. There's a particular one regarding an interview that he did with. Regarding his conviction and charge and so on,
yes.
and you spoke with a reporter. Is that an impersonation as well?
That is an impersonation, but it's also if I remember correctly, it's also part of from the philosophy and opinions of Marcus Garvey that is like intertwined.
Yes. Okay.
So factually, it is correct, because it contains most of the ideas that Garvey gave once you hit about the 2/3 mark of the philosophy and opinions of Marcus Garvey. That's where most of that information is coming from. Garvey is actually defending himself against his critics.
But there's an authentic one, though, or two, regarding Marcus Garvey's voice himself.
There are so many on there that I would not say, I believe in truth, and so I would not be able to make a final judgment because there are so many.
Okay.
But the ones that I've heard that are the most popular are of Mr. Semple.
Yes. Okay. All right. So here we are at the matter at hand. It's in regards to the issue of the exoneration. The Prime Minister said she would bring it up with President Obama when he arrives in Jamaica. But
yes.
Where are we in terms of what you have been able to do over there? Because you were spearheading the petition to the White House and so on. Where are we? What's the latest?
Well, we last year we got 11,000 signatures to our representative here in
repeat that. How much?
11,000 signatures.
Okay.
We delivered it to the representative here in Miami Gardens, Frederica Wilson, and she has promised to support the bill once Charles Rangel from New York brings it up, because he has a running resolution in the House of Representatives, and so she cannot hijack that bill. But once Mr. Rangel brings it up again, she says she has pledged her support. So I am imagining that it will probably, it all depends on timing. And I don't think our Prime Minister, Portia Simpson-Miller, would have just been talking like that, because, these things are worked out ahead of time. So, there are no real surprises that will be, I think, pushed upon Mr. Obama. I think this was worked out in the protocols beforehand and everything. And so I feel very good that this will be coming to pass.
And what are we talking here? Why are we pressing for the exoneration of Marcus Garvey to be expunged from the books, the criminal books up there in the United States?
Well, one of the things, as I tried to explain to a sister from Jamaica who was totally against it, an act of praise raises the consciousness of the person who is doing the praising. And so Marcus Garvey really doesn't need our praise or our expunging of his name. So in a sense, we're doing it for ourselves. We are saying this was a noble man. This was a great man who does not deserve to be. His name does not deserve to be continued to be demonized like this. And in so doing, we're also hoping to raise the consciousness of many people around the world, especially young people here in Florida. I give many lectures about Marcus Garvey, and there are even young Jamaicans in the audience who don't know anything about Marcus Garvey, the man who was the original Yes We Can. And said to black people around the world, rise up, you mighty people, accomplish what you can.
Yeah, up you mighty race. You can accomplish
up you
what
mighty
you will.
Race.
Yeah, for
what
real.
you will.
I remember as a youngster growing up, my father was a printer. He had usually have some exercise books with that on the cover.
Yes.
Yeah.
And even
up you mighty
and even
race.
now, and even that, is missing. I mean, can you imagine if from 1962, instead of taking the turn that we did, that instead we had been brought up on the philosophy and the opinions of Marcus Garvey, it would have been a different Jamaica.
Yes.
I mean, the whole point of culture.
Yeah.
Yes, the whole point of a culture is to have certain values that you hold sacred. And one of the things of Marcus Garvey, which I need in Kenya right now, it was we do not kill each other. We honor and respect each other. And so within a culture, there are certain things that are unthinkable. And lots of things have happened in Jamaica, which according to Garveyism, if you follow the principles of Garveyism, lots of things that are now happening would have been unthinkable if we had followed the philosophy and opinions of Marcus Garvey.
Yes. Now, noted in your petition is that many scholars now agree that Garvey, the founder of UNI, did not commit any of the alleged criminal acts for which he was sentenced to 5 years in prison. And although his sentence was eventually commuted by President Calvin Coolidge, it is now abundantly clear that Garvey was in prison because of his political beliefs that cantered on the redemption of the Africans at home and abroad.
Yes.
Yeah, explain, regarding, now that many scholars agree that he basically didn't commit any alleged criminal acts.
If you look, I'm just going to mention three. There is the work of Tony Martin, which anyone who is interested in Garvey, he should be the number one person. Garvey, he has written books like Race First, Hero, many books on Garvey and Garveyism. The next person is Robert Hill. I think he's retired and living in Jamaica now. The third person is Judith Stein. And the fourth person is Colin Grant, Negro with a Hat, where you'll find most of the credible sources on Garvey. If you just read those four books alone, you will see that it was a whole plot launched by the U.S. authorities to silence Garvey, because Garvey was teaching people about black people, about respecting themselves and knowing that they came from a noble people and a noble race. And then you couldn't, I mean, it's even dangerous to say that now. Can you imagine Garvey saying that back in the 1920s?
Yes, so true. And, but we gather that this petition that was eventually signed by those 11,000 persons you said was turned down by the White House. I mean, is that a fact?
No. Here's what happened.
Yes, talk to us because we are of that impression.
No. Here are the facts. The first thing is the first one that came out was from an attorney here in Miami. His name was Donovan Parker. And Mr. Parker I don't want to misrepresent him, but it seems as if Mr. Parker was acting alone. In the case of this petition, we have people here in Miami, like Jabulani Tafari, Don Rico Ricketts, and we've also linked up with Marimau Kamau, who is the historian of the UNIA in Washington, D.C., and also Yaw Davis, who's out there in California. So what this represents is not just a Jeffrey Field thing. It's not even a Jeffrey Field thing. What this is a coming together of people who have studied Garvey, who know Garvey, and have indeed been inspired by Garvey's work. So it's a coalition. People who sometimes in real life don't get along.
All right, hold that point for us. We're going to take a break and return for a couple more minutes discussing this issue. Okay, speaking with Jeffrey Phillip, the man behind the exoneration attempts, one of the persons behind the exoneration attempts there of Marcus Garvey up there in the books in the United States. Jeffrey, so you were saying that basically we have been misinformed in being led to believe that the White House had threw out the petition.
The one that went in first was from Mr. Donovan Parker. That one was rejected by the White House Counsel. As I said, I don't think Mr. Parker should have acted on his own like that because again, from what it appears, so we are now a coalition. Garvey said organize. That was what Garvey was all about. So, as I said, people like Ras Jabulani Tafari, Professor Michael Barnett, Marimau Kamau, these are Yaw Davis. These are all people who have come together in this new coalition to make sure that the exoneration of Marcus Garvey comes to pass. Because right now we're seeing a historical opportunity. First black president elected to the United States of America, who in fact quoted Garvey in his book Dreams from My Father. I have it highlighted in the book Dreams from My Father. That was one of the reasons I voted for Obama.
What was the quote? Do you remember it?
It's on page 290. He quoted Garvey. He said,
yes.
That famous quote, "Arise, ye mighty people, accomplish what you will."
Okay.
It's there in the book.
Yes.
It's right there in the book. Anybody who wants to read it. So he is very much, Obama is very much aware of Garvey and his work. In fact, if you read the book, later on he goes to Kenya and gives his cousin a tape of Bob Marley. So, Obama from the time he was like about 26 knew about Marcus Garvey and knew about Bob Marley and the music and everything else. So he's not an ignorant man.
And you're saying basically by being the first black president of the United States, he can change all of this with a stroke of his pen.
With a stroke of a pen, he can change all of this, and bring to the consciousness of people the work of Marcus Garvey. Because if he does this exoneration, the first question is going to be, who is this Marcus Garvey? Right now, it would be, who is this Marcus Garvey? And immediately more people would become aware of Garvey's work and what Garvey was about. Of course, there will be the misrepresentation of Garvey, but that is only to be expected. But for the most part, I think, yes, there will be unintended consequences, but for the most part, it will bring back recognition to a man who is a hero for many of us.
Not to throw any spanner in the works, but what would then be some of those unintended consequences, or likely unintended consequences?
One of them would be the continuous misrepresentation of Garvey as saying all black people should go back to Africa. And in fact, Garvey said nothing of the sort. In fact, he said, some black people here in the West are lazy, and he doesn't want lazy people going back to Africa. So, it's like,
yes.
Again, to just broadly label Garvey as a back to Africa man.
Yes, all right.
That's not what Garvey was about. Garvey was about, as he said later in that speech in Nova Scotia, emancipate yourself from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our minds.
Exactly. So in closing, just provide for us a synopsis as to where you are in regards to the signing of the petition. Are you still signing petitions as we speak?
We have been in contact with Julius Garvey, and so we are really waiting word from him as to when to fire up the petition machine again. But I will tell you this, and I make a pledge to you as soon as Mr. Garvey tells us, because part of it also is the recovery of legal claims and everything else. As soon as we get the go ahead, then we will be in contact with you at IRI FM, because you've always been kind. You've always been kind to this movement.
Yeah.
And for that I give thanks.
Yeah, man, that's what we are here for. We are the People's Station, IRI FM. Thanks much for joining us this morning, and we'll speak again on this issue. And let's hope that when Prime Minister Miller meet with President Obama on this aspect, it will be fruitful.
Yes, give thanks.
All right, bless.
Bless.
Running African road, running African sailor, running African road, running African sailor. So let the changes begin, now and forever. Yes, the time has come, now and forever. Stand up, stand up, stand up, and defend your rights. Have no fear, have no fear, have no fear. Running Africans no fear. Revolution, oh, revolution, yeah. We want time forever. Rise up, rise up, rise up. You mighty race. Have no fear, have no fear, have no fear. Running Africans no fear. Rise up, rise up, rise up. You mighty race. For I and I to be, and somehow we there and I'll rule like we no fear. For the time has come when everyone
and stand up for your rights. One is African youth, one is African slayer, one is African youth, one is African slayer. So let the changes begin. Now and forever. Yes, the time has come. Now and forever. Stand up, stand up, stand up, and defend your rights. Have no fear, have no fear, have no fear. These Africans no fear. Revolution, revolution. We want time forever. Rise up, rise up, rise up. You mighty race. Have no fear, have no fear, have no fear. These Africans no fear. Rise up, rise up, rise up. You mighty race. Have no fear, have no fear, have no fear. These Africans no fear. More than 400 years.
Yeah, man, Profi, rise up, you mighty race, running African. And of course, we are on the anniversary of the Coral Gardens incident, an attack on Rastafari back in the early 1960s by the Jamaican government. And they have been having celebrations in terms of, not really celebrations, but they have been basically identifying themselves a group in terms of what happened back in the 1960s. And every year there are ceremonies being held in commemoration of what took place and to rub into the consciousness of the people what really happened. Ras IV, he joins us online. Morning, Ras IV, welcome.
Yes, great things, Roger, great things, and give thanks, you know.
How you doing?
But I'm giving thanks, you know.
Yeah, man, all the Westmoreland Ganja Farmers Association coming along.
Well, we are here, you know, we are always organized and always preparing ourselves for the next step that the government make. And, you know, at the moment, it's about to be signed off by the Justice Minister and to be gazetted into law, you know.
Now, and what's your understanding of what will be gazetted into law?
The proposal, the amendment that took place with them called the Jug Act, you know?
Yes.
That went through Cabinet, went through the Senate, went through Parliament, signed off by the Governor General, and is to be gazetted, you know? So, I mean, I figure more or less that one are maybe not aware in detail, but some of the amendments that took place, for example, the 2 ounces and less would become a non-arrestable offense and ticketable. But there are a lot of things that we, not only within the Westmoreland Hemp and Ganja Farmers Association, are in disagreement with, but the Rastafari community on a whole is in disagreement with a lot of things. For example, there will be an 18-man board established, and only one Rasta will be on that 18-man board, and I think it's unfair and unjust for the community of Rastafari having gone through what it has gone through in terms of its persecution, the Ganja, and the fact that we are been standing up and calling for the legalization and decriminalization. For now a board to be established and to have one Rasta on it as representative, I think that's very unfair and unjust. And
so Babylon stay, man. So Babylon stay. I mean, you know, once it becomes fashionable, I mean, they'll be nothing of themselves and doing these things.
But I think we have to continue as a culture and as a movement to continue to agitate to the government for these changes to be made, because if we sit by and take it and, you know, make the government feel that we are satisfied with this one representative, then they might feel like, everything is all right. So we We have to be prepared that if it even means to take the street to demand our right, our justice, then we have to be prepared to do so. But we cannot sit by and just watch a board with so many government representatives, so many ministries, so many agencies, and then to have one Rasta individual, and whether me or female.
Yes, this was the issue I wanted. Was one of the issues I wanted was to bring up with the Justice Minister this morning, but he turned on our request for an interview along with his assistant, who only two of them can speak actually on the issue, and none of them wanted to talk. But to the matter of hand, though, Coral Gardens incident. What happened this week?
Well, Coral Garden, as you know, and as you rightfully say, we don't celebrate, we just commemorate, you know. We try to keep the memory of what took place in 1963 when the state carried out one of the most vicious attacks on the Rastafari community, resulting in lives being lost and people being named until today. Some people can't stand straight, you know. So we make sure that every bad Friday, what them call Good Friday, we keep an activity. And if you remember, even 2013, when we commemorated the 50th anniversary, we had a march in Kingston and so on, you know. But in terms of what took place this week, Friday, which was the 3rd, you know, we had the commemoration at the Mobile Cricket Club in Montego Bay next door to the Gerard Park football, the Gerard Park Sports Complex. But we started out in the morning with a health fair. We want to give thanks to Dr. Jodine, our sister in Rastafari, sister and our other two nurse sisters that were there, and the public, Rastafari, non-Rastafari people, came and got them blood pressure checkup and sugar level. You know, the ancients were treated, were tested, and treated. So that's how we started out in the morning. We went on, and in the day now where the Rastafari elders started to give testimonies. Again, we have to give thanks to Ras Ika and the team, that Sister Charlene, Bonga Brown, Icross, Tony, you know, Simba, Dr. Annette. You know, who I mention and who I don't mention, but we have to give thanks because these are the individuals who have stuck together. I am no longer the chairperson since last year, and I give thanks that ICA has come in and we have other individuals who have taken up the responsibility, because this is a baton, this is a relay. You know, one generation passes it on to the other, and to make sure that the history of our struggle is being kept alive. In the night, we went on to, you know, presenters, speakers. Well, I spoke and Herb, Maxine Stowe was there, Bunny Wheeler was there, we had Pinky Jed, and other individuals, but good cultural presentation, Dr. Clinton Hutton from the university, Dr. Mikey Barnett. But all in all, it was somewhat more solemn, Raja, than it had been over the years. In the morning from about 3 o'clock now, we had the Nyabingi chanting, Rasaibai was there.
Yes.
And one very important aspect of what took place was that because the 3rd is Empress Earthstrong, is Empress Menen Earthstrong. So we brought the two functions together. The Coral Garden atrocities.
Yes.
And the Empress Menen Earthstrong.
Mm-hmm.
So what then I did was to acknowledge and give award to certain sisters. And again, this was the brainchild of Ika Tafari. Ika Tafari, I don't like to be called Ika. I'm not saying him down, but it's Ika Tafari. And we awarded awards were given to an sister, outstanding sister within the Rastafari community. For example, Mama Fire,
yes,
Dr. Yanzi, Dr. Leela, Mama Enid, she wasn't there. Sisters from the 12 tribe of Israel, Sister Isa Char, Dr. Dana, Dr. Sister Woods, and Dr. Lily. Also, to an sister who just passed on, Sister Ita, whose name is really Ivorine Walsh.
Yes.
So these 9 sisters, daughters who have been involved in the Rastafari struggle over the years, were given awards. You know, some are there, some are not there.
Yes.
But that is a highlight because, you know, the fact that we have to show appreciation love for our sister who have stood up with I as the nail within the Rastafari movement over these years.
True.
And these daughters have gone through a lot because most, if not every one of them, you know, are mothers of children. And you know what our Rastafari youths have gone through in the schools, the victimization and the discrimination. You know, also where this whole immunization thing is concerned, and I is not with it because some of these immunization thing, pig blood and all type of things are in it that I as Rastafari don't want to be in our system, you know.
Yes.
But basically that was the highlight. We have to give thanks to the youth who came and performed. And I can tell you some serious lyrics. Mackie Conscious, Major Lied, you know, some professionals were there.
Great,
you know?
great, Rasta IFE. All right, want to thank you very much, Doino. So the commemoration continues next year and onwards.
And the same Bad Friday. But Roger, there's something I like to say.
Quickly,
right?
yeah.
Because I heard Paul Chang came on the radio saying this morning, so as if he was speaking on behalf of the Rastafari community. And I being co-chair of the Nyabingi host and know what is happening within this RMC. These few individuals who are go around acting as if they are RMC cannot authorize any individual, especially Paul Chang, to speak on our behalf. And I know it is going to cause an uproar within the Rastafari community. But I'm saying to the community and the public at large, Paul Chang has not been authorized by the Rastafari community to speak or act on our behalf.
We can sort it out. I don't think it was specifically on that, but we can sort it out, though, Rasta IFE. Thanks much.
Yeah, man.
And bless up.
Give thanks.
And the coloration, the struggle continues, all right?
Yeah, this struggle have to continue because we have to fight for what we believe in. And next week, Sunday, we'll be gathering at the Pit 4 Nyabingi Center in preparation for the 49th anniversary of the visit of His Imperial Majesty.
All right, looking forward to that. Bless up yourself, Rasta IFE.
Exactly.
All right, take care.
Nanga
All right. Music there of the Congolese star T'Challa as we close out the Africa Forum this morning, Running African. It was a pleasure bringing the program to you this morning. And I want to say special thank you to our guests who came on the program today. I want to thank Ras Mandito as we reviewed his book, The Testament of Rastafari. I want to thank Jeffrey Phillips, one of the persons behind the exoneration attempts of Marcus Garvey to be expunged from the criminal books up there in the United States. Ibi Griffiths, a deacon at the Ethiopian Orthodox Church, as we spoke about Fasika, or the Ethiopian Easter. Of course, today is Palm Sunday in the Ethiopian context. Paul Chang spoke about the reggae, the Ganja Cup and Festival to be held here in Ocherius later in the year. Muta Baruka stepping to Ivory Coast. He joined us on the program as well. He's going there along with Jalani for the reggae festival in the Ivory Coast. Thanks to Rasa Evi as well for appearing on the program too. Special mentions, big up to DJ Brian, who really shepherded me through the board this morning as I, navigate my way. I'm getting there very soon. I mean, you don't have to come, Brian. If I should get the opportunity again, I can deal with it myself. Simone Brown out there, thanks very much as usual. Nice, like you hear as usual, nice locks flowing. Yeah. Shamara Preston, our producer today, a production assistant. And of course, I am Roger Haspel, signing out of the Africa Forum, Running African today. Great pleasure sitting in for Kheru. We'll be back next week to continue the journey, the mission statement, reuniting the African family for development. So until then, cheers, take care.